Welcome back. I'm Richard Hosnott, and I'm your host for the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast and this YouTube channel. Great to have you back here. As the title kind of says, this is another episode in my Words of Wisdom series, which, interestingly enough, comes out to be, wow, I couldn't resist. This is a series where I share wisdom from some books and other sources that have been most helpful in my efforts to live a wisdom-inspired life. Having said that, this episode goes in a little bit different direction. This is pulled from more recent experience, and it's the study reported from Harvard on the connection between science and love. And I'm not sure those two words go together terribly well. They do in some aspects, as I'll share with you here. But I focus here on love because it's such an important part of living a wisdom-inspired life, along with compassion. Well, in this particular report, they talked about over 6,600 pages of research results when they did a search for the word love in a research databank, and also found that the National Institutes of Health is conducting 18 clinical trials on love. I don't even want to ask what those are all about. Not sure what you would do with all that. Okay? So, I want to share with you some what science kind of says is love, or the effects of love, or something of that nature. This is the concoction, if you will, of chemicals and everything that science tells us lead to heads over heel love. Okay, so bear with me on this. Okay, love also turns on the neurotransmitter dopamine, which is known to stimulate the brain's pleasure centers. Couple that with a drop in levels of serotonin, which adds a dash of obsession. Don't you like the way this is written? Dash of obsession. And you have the crazy, pleasing, stupefied, urgent love of infatuation. So, if you want a chemical recipe for love, this is kind of it. But you don't kind of get to be in charge of what goes on there. But anyway, that's kind of what happens chemically, I guess, in your body. I'm not sure what you can do with all of this. But it is interesting to understand at least the physiological aspects of love. Now, it also goes on to talk that love goes through phases, and I think most of us that have been in love can kind of recognize this. But again, we look at this a little bit from a chemical level here. During the first love year, serotonin levels gradually return to normal, and the stupid and obsessive aspects of the condition, referring to love, moderate. Okay. That period is followed by increases in the hormone oxytocin, a neurotransmitter associated with calmer, more mature form of love. The oxytocin helps cement bonds, raise the immune function, and begin to confer the health benefits found in married couples who tend to live longer, have fewer strokes and heart attacks, be less depressed, and have higher survival rates for major surgery and cancer. So being in love has a lot of medical benefits. And in a couple of pages from here, I'll give you a book that does a great job of articulating all that. So these are the kind of phases love goes through. There's another person who looked at the phases of love and said, there are 7 phases of love. Falling in love, coupling, sober up. Sober up, Deepening, not sure what that sober up phase is about. Deepening, genuine bonding, comfort, true and enduring love. Well, for somebody like myself who's been married more than 40 years, I can look back on my life and see some of this, even though I still don't know what the sobering up is all about. But nonetheless, love does go through phases if it progresses from one stage to the next successfully. As we know, there are more than enough instances where love kind of goes off the rails and it doesn't go to these higher and deeper levels for whatever it's worth. So maybe you can see where you are in all of this. So I mentioned a book by Dr. Dean Ornish from Stanford. If you've been listening to these episodes, you'll also remember that I shared with you his book about the research he did at Stanford on reversing heart disease without drugs or surgery. A monumental book in its own right. And at the heart of that particular book was that the process that they used as an alternative to drugs and surgery, at the heart of that, it featured the practice of meditation. There were a couple other things that they did also, but meditation was kind of at the heart of that. So Dean Ornish did that. Well, Dean Ornish got married or remarried, not quite sure what it was, and experienced love very intensely and ended up writing this book, Love and Survival. And it reports on every sort of research study I think that's ever been done, at least at the time that he wrote the book, on the benefits of love, the 8 pathways to intimacy and health. So it's a great read. So if you're interested in understanding love better and the power and the benefits of it, it's a great read. So, well, that's my update on love from more of a medical, physiological benefits sort of perspective. Okay? Hopefully that has been of at least modest interest to you. And as always, if you're interested in learning more about what's going on in My Wisdom Inspired Life, you can go to the mywisdominspiredlife.com. There you can listen to the podcast, new episodes every Saturday and Sunday. Got a great player there, but you can also listen to them on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and wherever you listen to podcasts. So a lot of things going on there. Well, as you know, I'm on a journey, and I really appreciate you being part of the journey with me today, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you.